Hello all, welcome back to our channel. Today we are diving into day 4 of our DevOps Made easy course. For those who are joining us for the first time, a big hello. We are conducting a free DevOps Made easy course which will take you from a beginner to an expert in DevOps. If you haven't watched our previous videos, I highly recommend checking out the DevOps Made easy playlist which we have uploaded in our channel, where we have covered about the basic funda of DevOps, the evolution of virtual machine, servers and cloud computing concepts as well. Today we will explore creating virtual machine on AWS cloud providers. Then we will also discuss about the importance of automation in DevOps. Basically, this is a continuation of day 3 topic, that is understanding virtual machines and servers. Let's have a quick recap of day 3. Previously, we have covered what is a server and what is a virtual machine. Next, we looked into the evolution of virtual machines, and we also had understanding about physical and virtual server. We also saw this with the real world example as well. Next, we looked into the virtualization and its benefits. So because of this evolution, there was a decline of physical data centers and there was a rise in cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platforms, and so on. Again, if you have missed this, go back and watch day 3 to get a complete understanding before continuing this video. All right. In today's topic, we will discuss about creating virtual machines on cloud providers. We will have a practical demonstration on how to create a virtual machine on AWS. Then we will have an understanding about cloud service models. Next, we will look into the importance of automation and DevOps. And we will also cover about the different methods to automate virtual machine creations. So without any delay, let's get started. Okay, now let's see how to create a virtual machine on AWS. Give me a second, let me share my screen. Cool. Now search for AWS console login on your favorite browser. Select the first link. Now click on sign in. If you don't have your AWS account, create a new AWS account. Enter your mail address and AWS account name and follow the next steps to create your AWS account. Since I have already created my AWS account, I'll be making use of my existing credentials. Basically, AWS, they charge you ₹2 for verification, but they also provide 1 year free tier services. Once you have successfully signed up, now let's log into AWS with our credentials. Okay, there are two types of users. One is root user and the other one is IAM user. Once you create a new AWS account, by default it provides you as a root user access. That is, root users, they have all the unrestricted access towards services and resources. Basically, they don't have any restrictions. And the other one is IAM user. IAM user stands for Identity and Access Management user. IAM users are created within AWS by the root users. Basically, they have limited permission based on the IAM policies. Now let's log in as a root user. Enter your mail ID and password. So once you are successfully logged in, navigate to our EC2 instance by searching EC2 instance in the search tab. Now launch the EC2 instance. As we all know that EC2 instance, it create, manage and monitor virtual servers in the cloud, right? Now let's launch our instance by clicking the launch instance button on the right side, or either you can select instance from the left side and launch the instance. By following the below simple steps, Amazon EC2 quickly allows us to create virtual machines or instances on using AWS console. Now let's create our first instance on our AWS console. Let me name it as first instance. Next, select your application operating system image. As you can see, there are different types of operating system images available, like Linux, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat, and Debian. Um, Ubuntu is recommended for beginners, so we will select Ubuntu, and there are different versions of Ubuntu that are available. We will select Ubuntu Server 2022.04 LTS, as this version comes under free tier eligible. So remaining versions all are under paid subscription mode. So we will select the free tier eligible. So this is the description of our image. It is a 64-bit architecture, and this is the Amazon machine image ID, followed by we have the publishing date of the image and username. Next, let's select the instance type. There are multiple instance types that are available. You can also find about those types in Amazon documentation, as you see here. There are different types of instance that are available, like T2 Nano, T2 Micro, and so on. So we will be making use of T2 Micro because this comes under the free tier eligibility. It provides us with one virtual CPU and 1 GB RAM, followed by these are the pricings. So now let's select the T2 Micro, which is the free tier eligible. And so next is the key pair. Key pair are essential for SSH logins to securely connect to your instance. So now let's create our new key pair. So enter name for your key pair. Let me name it as test. Next, keep this key pair type as RSA by default, and you can um, keep this file format as .pem. Make sure uh, make sure you store this private key in your local computer, because we will be making use of this file to connect to your instance later. So let me create a new key pair now. You can see it got downloaded, test.pem, in my downloads. Next is the network settings. For now, do not much bother about the network settings, because we'll be discussing about each sections in detail in our future classes. For now, let's keep the default value and let's proceed with it. Once you are completed with this, in the right hand side, you can see the summary of our instance that we are about to create. Here you can see the number of instances that we are about to create. It is 1. And the software image that we are about to flash is Ubuntu. And the instance type that we have selected is T2. So once you have confirmed this, you can launch the instance by clicking launch instance. Wait for a few minutes. Now successfully we have created our instance. Now go to instance dashboard to view our running virtual machines. You can go to instance and click on dashboard. You can see the instance currently that is running. By following these simple steps, now we can create our own virtual machine or instance in AWS Cloud Provider by making use of AWS console. Now we will see the importance of automation and DevOps. Just now we saw how to create one virtual machine, how to create one virtual machine manually. Creating one virtual machine manually, that is fine. What if you are in a need of 100 instances or 100 virtual machine? Logging into AWS multiple times, it is very inefficient, right? If you are following my video from the day one, I keep insisting the word efficiency, because the main aim of DevOps is to increase the efficiency and to reduce the errors. Now we will get to know why manually creating virtual machines is inefficient for scaling, and and we will get to know about the importance of automation, how automation, it not only saves the time but also reduces the errors and significantly it boosts the efficiency, so that it makes essential for managing large scale infrastructure deployments. AWS also offers multiple automation tools for managing infrastructure efficiently. Now we will see the tools one by one in detail. The first one is AWS CLI. AWS CLI, it enables command line resource management. Basically, we can connect to our AWS through the command line interface. In today's video, we'll be having a hands-on how to connect to our AWS and see the instances that we have created today. And the next tool is AWS API. Python provides us with a module called Boto3. With the help of this Boto3 module, we can connect to our AWS and, and it allows us to perform a script-based automation. And the next tool is AWS CloudFormation Template. Basically, these CFTs are a YAML or a JSON file that defines AWS infrastructure as a code. And the next tool is Terraform. Terraform is an open source multi-cloud tool that allows you to define and provide provision infrastructure across various cloud providers like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud platforms. And the last tool is AWS Cloud Development Kit. This CDK allows you to define infrastructure using high-level programming languages like Python, JavaScript, or Java. Do not worry, for now just get familiar with these terms. In our future classes, we'll be discussing about each tools in detail, and we will also have a hands-on how to connect with our AWS and how to automate it. We saw the different automation tools that are provided by AWS Cloud Provider. Now we will see how important is it to choose a right automation tool. If your organization is a AWS centric, then AWS CDK or CFT will be the best choice. If your organization is a multiple cloud provider, then Terraform will be a good deal. If you are developing a small scale automation projects, you can go with AWS CLI or AWS APIs. Make sure you are choosing a right automation tool based on your requirements. Okay, cool. Now let us do a hands-on on how to automate our first instance or virtual machine using AWS CLI. Let me share my screen. To automate in instance or virtual machines, first we need to install AWS CLI into our local system. So let us install AWS CLI into our local system. AWS CLI install. Amazon itself, they provide a proper documentation on how to install the AWS CLI into our local system. You can see here they have provided the installation procedure for all the three different operating systems. For if you are making use of Linux, you can follow the below steps. Since I'm making use of Windows, let me follow the steps to install the CLI. To download and run AWS CLI for Windows, let me select this link and let me download it. Once it is downloaded, go to the download path where it got downloaded and double click on the application to get installed. You can select next, can accept the terms and on the license agreement. Once it is done, you can proceed with the next. So ready to install. Let me install the AWS CLI. Now AWS CLI is getting installed in my local system. Now the installation is done. So let me finish. Let me give finish. And to check whether the AWS CLI got installed or not, now open your command prompt and type AWS -- version. You can see AWS CLI got successfully installed with the version 2.25.8. By following the instructions that are mentioned in the AWS documentation, you should be good to install the AWS CLI into your local system. Still, if you are facing any issues, please do drop your questions in the comments. Let me help you. And the next step is we need to configure AWS. So now type AWS configure in your command prompt. Sorry, I had forgot to share the screen. Give me a second. Let me share my screen. Cool. So once you type AWS configure, it will ask for AWS access key ID. Now let's see how to generate the AWS access key ID. Now log into your AWS account. On the right hand side top, you can find your AWS account name. Select the option and select security credentials. In the below, you can find create access key. Select the option, enable the permission and create your access key. Now we have successfully generated the access key and secret access key. Let us make use of this generated access keys in AWS configuration. Now we will enter the generated AWS access keys. As you can see, I have entered the access key details which we generated now, and next I have entered the default region as AP South 1. You can see here, once you go to your Amazon homepage, you can see the region. I have set my region as Mumbai, that is AP South 1, and default output I am setting it as I am testing. So now we have successfully configured our AWS. Before creating an instance from our CLI, now let us list the instances that are currently running in our AWS account. In the starting of the video, we have created our manual instance using AWS console. Now let's try to list that instance. We have a command to list the instances that are running, that is AWS EC2 describe instances. Type AWS EC2 describe hyphen instances. It returns your JSON output. These are the key value pairs that are specific to the instance that is currently running. You can see the specific details like reservation ID, owner ID, the architecture. I hope you remember we have selected the architecture as 64, and you can see the name which we created for our instance. I guess we have named it as for our first instance. You can see the name here inside tags. We have the name and the value we have set it as first instance. First instance. Now successfully we are able to connect to our AWS through our AWS CLI. Now we will see how to automatically create our first instance from our CLI. So this is the command that allows us to create and run the instance from AWS CLI. That is AW EC2 run instance. Followed by we have the OS image ID. I have given the Ubuntu image ID. Followed by we have the instance type, that is T2 micro. Since we are making use of AWS free tier, I have given T2 micro. And the key pair, we have already created the key pair for our first instance. So I'll be making use of the same key pair. And the number of instances that we are about to create is 1. And followed by I have provided a name for our instance, that is second instance. Now let us create and run the instance from our AWS CLI. Now you can see successfully we are able to create and run the instance from our AWS CLI. You can confirm that by seeing the name and the name which we have provided, that is the second instance that is currently running. Let us do a quick recap of what we have learned in our today's video. Still, if you are facing any issue in creating the instance, please follow these steps. Create your own AWS account and get logged into it. Next, search for EC2 in the AWS service menu. Then click on instances and launch your instance. Once the instance is launched, provide a name for your instance and choose the OS. Next, select the instance type. You can select the free tier eligible instance. Next is you are supposed to create a key pair. We know that key pair, it is very essential for SSH login. So click on create new pair and provide a name for it. And you can choose .pem format, and do not forget to download the key pair. Finally, review your settings and click on Launch Instance. Now go to Instance Dashboard to view your running virtual machines. Next, we saw why automation is essential in DevOps, and we also covered the different automation methods that is provided by AWS Cloud Provider. And next, we saw how to deploy an instance using AWS CLI. To get a better understanding, I encourage you to practice creating EC2 instance using both the AWS console and CLI. Try launching instance with different configurations. The more you practice, the more comfortable you will become with managing the AWS resource efficiently. In the next video, we will dive deep into infrastructure as a code using Terraform and AWS Development Kit. Okay, see you guys in the next session. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more DevOps content. Thank you for watching.